right, so we're here at NYCC with Steve Orlando, and can you tell us a little bit what was the process for you getting on Supergirl?
I mean, Supergirl came about because even if you wouldn't see it on the surface, there's a lot of connective tissue between what I did in Midnighter and what's going on at Supergirl. And that is to say, Midnighter was a book that really keyed in to the wild imagination that's possible with the DC Universe, big ideas on every page, that I also think, in my opinion, the Superbook should be about. So, you know, even though Midnighter is an extremely violent book, and Supergirl, you know, you won't see any exploding heads in that book, as you might imagine, the tone behind it, the anything is possible, the everything is possible that was in Midnighter, I think put me in people's minds to go to Supergirl, where, you know, more than ever in the Superman books, we can go anywhere, we can do anything, and we're only limited by what we can, by the confines of the page.
Is there going to be any? I noticed when I read the Supergirl Rebirth and first issue, and there seems to be a lot of connectivity between the book and the television program. How much can fans expect to see of that, since there are a lot of fans of the show?
I think you've already, you know, the biggest connective tissue is the tone. You know, when it comes to elements from the show, I think you've seen most of it in issue 1, and it's more about framing, and it's more about giving Supergirl a place where she can stand on her own and build her own world, build her own legacy. You know, I say a lot that I think that Kara would be Supergirl even if Clark Kent was never around, even if Superman never existed. Her experiences coming to Earth, she would still be Supergirl. And so important to me was having her establish her own world separate from Metropolis. And so we pulled some things from the show that we thought could help embolden that. But the biggest thing is the tone. You know, and it's almost a trick. The show has gotten Supergirl so right and understands her so well by virtue of knowing what makes her unique as a character, getting back to the core of her that was established in the comics, the hope, the understanding, the compassion, strength that doesn't necessarily mean hitting someone in the face. You know, strength that means looking at someone who hates you and trying to understand them instead of just casting them out. And that's what she stands for, and the show understands that, and we understand that, so that's the biggest thing connecting the two things.
In your opinion, since you're in the book, a lot of people have said that Supergirl is just Superman in a skirt, and even though I think you did address that with your last statement, can you elaborate a little bit more? What's the core of Supergirl?
Look, I think, well, that's not true. You know, here's the thing. They're completely different characters. People like to say that Superman is an immigrant story, and there's certainly an argument to be made for that. But what I would say is this. In today's world, Kal-El woke up in a rocket. He was a baby. The first thing he saw was loving human parents. Krypton is something he read about in a book. It's something he sees in holograms. Kara's experience, I think, is incredibly real compared to his. For her, Krypton is something that she remembers. It's a place she was last year or 2 years ago, and now it's gone. She's left real friends, family, memories, actual places behind to come to a new world. So Supergirl, to me, is in many ways something that we can relate to much more. There's a pain and I don't mean a negativity, but there's a transition and a struggle in her that we face in the real world much more than what Superman has faced. Anytime, and it's not just coming to a new country, you know, starting a new job, starting a new relationship, moving to a different state. We've all felt like an outsider, like we've had to leave parts of our life behind that are still very real to us and find a way to move on and be positive. And that's what she's done. And so, you know, to me, like, Supergirl is truly one of the most real immigrant stories, even compared to Superman in comics. She has done what we go through every day, and her drive in that, it's inspiring to me, and hopefully it's inspiring to other people.
Last question. The Superman family was something that was really big in the Bronze Age, and we actually see a lot of that coming back now as we see Superman with the sun. And even though the New 52 isn't quite seamless, so we don't know just how connected everyone is, will we get to see some overplay between Superman, see Kara being in somewhat of an aunt role to John Kent? Can we expect to see any of that?
Eventually, yes, without question, because I think that there's incredible character dynamics between John and Kara. You know, because when you think about it, Kara is one of the only people that knew John's dad when you know, Clark was John's age. Like, she has a perspective on with Superman that no one else has as well, that she can help and bring to John. So yeah, it's an important thing to tackle, and those are things that we'll definitely see. First and foremost to me, especially the first story arc, is establishing the pillars of Kara's world. Her as an independent character. And once we have that, and once that's rock solid, we can go and we must show how her unique perspective meshes up against Superman, how it meshes up against Superboy, and honestly beyond that, she's unique in the DC universe, and that means that she can bounce off every character in the DC universe in a unique way.
Steve Orlando, NYCC, the Superman homepage. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.